So I just got my first photos developed on 35mm film. Let's go ahead and check out what these things look like. Now, this is our third video in this little Canon AF35M series that we're kind of spontaneously doing here on the channel. So if you guys haven't checked out the first two videos that we posted earlier this week, definitely go check those ones out. Those kind of just go over this particular camera, and I'm kind of showing you guys my way of cleaning up old cameras in order to, you know, use them for the first time or try them out for the first time. I am super excited to finally look at these photos. It's actually been quite a couple days since I originally got these things back, but today I want to really check out what the photos look like and give you guys my reaction to me actually seeing my first photos on 35mm film, which already has been a really fun experience. Now, when it comes to these photos in particular, this is gonna go one of two ways. Either these photos are gonna look pretty good, the camera's gonna test out okay, or the photos might not be so good. So let's go ahead and check out these photos. But first, where did I actually end up going to get these photos developed? Now, in my area, I live in a pretty urban area, so there are some places to get film developed locally, but the closest place to me is a place out in Glen Ellyn called PJ's Camera. Now, this place was super easy to work with. They have an outside film drop-off box, so you can drop off film outside of their normal work hours, which worked out good for me. I was able to just drive out there late at night after my daughter already went to bed, drop off the film, and you know, that was that. And then they were literally ready the next day. So really quick turnaround time, and yeah, that worked out awesome. The overall price of these things turned out to be a little bit more expensive than I thought it was gonna be. Now, these ended up costing $77.51 to get 2 rolls of film developed, digitized, and you guys can see I did end up getting prints. This was my very first time getting photos on 35mm film myself. Back when I was, you know, a kid, I remember going to Walmart and, you know, Walgreens and different places with my mom to get film developed with you know, 1-hour photos and all of that kind of stuff that was around back in the, you know, late 90s and whatnot, when you know, all throughout the 90s when I was a kid, and my mom was getting 35mm film developed. So I wanted to get actual photos with my negatives back, and I wanted to get everything digitized. So it cost a little bit more. Now over at PJ's Camera, I believe it was about 21 bucks to get everything digitized and to get your negatives developed. With that, I also got the photos done, so that I believe was about an extra 15 bucks to get all of the prints of the photos. They actually didn't itemize everything here on the receipt, so I don't remember the exact prices, but it was about 21 bucks for the digitization, which was only a 6 megapixel digitization, which I thought was a little bit low of a resolution compared to a lot of the other places that I was looking up, but this again was the closest place to me, so I didn't want to be too picky when it came to you know, the overall digitization resolution. I can always send in these negatives somewhere else to get them digitized, or I can kind of take over that process myself. So with this, with getting everything developed, I did end up getting the original little cartons back for my first 2 rolls of film. I labeled them, signed them, all of that kind of stuff. Just, you know, something to put on the shelf or something for now. But with that, we got our receipt, or we got kind of our little receipt here, but we also got all of our photos. So let me just double check up here. We're looking good. Okay. So I believe this is actually the second roll right here. So this is the second roll. I don't think I'm gonna show you guys any of these photos. These were all taken on the Canon AF35M2, which I have right back there on the shelf. I know you guys can't see it. I need to get some new lights or something to kind of illuminate some of those shells back there. But the digitization, I was a little disappointed because it comes with a CD, and the only CD player or disc drive that I know of is on my parents' computer. So I'm gonna need to pop this into my parents' computer to show you guys all the photos, which I should have done by the time I'm making this video. But that is one thing that I thought was a little bit too old school. It would be nice if they just put this on if they need to put it on a CD, because maybe they have like a really old system or something like that. It would be nice if they just dropped it onto a USB for you, free of charge, and gave you a USB instead of a CD, because there's probably a lot of people that don't have access to a disk drive. They would need to go out and buy a dedicated little external disk drive or something for their laptop or computer. So if you guys remember in our very first photo, this is hilarious because I remember taking all these photos, obviously, but you can see our very first two photos here. This is going to be pretty funny. So these are actually going to be in reverse order. So I'm going to pull them up from the back. And one thing about when we ended up shooting these, a lot of these photos, just due to what I saw people recommending that you do with your Fuji 200 speed film, is overexpose it by one stop. So I did overexpose a lot of these shots by one stop, just to kind of experiment with that, but I kind of remember which ones I did and which ones I didn't. So we're gonna go ahead and pull from the bottom. This was our very first shot that we ended up taking the other day here on camera. That's super fun to see right there. So yeah, that's super hilarious. That's our very first #1 photo. That was fun. There's our #2 photo, because we weren't sure if we were even starting the roll yet at this point. So yeah, this is super hilarious. It's always fun. You can see that I'm not even actually in focus. It's actually the stuff behind me that's in focus. Was it like that on the first one as well? Yeah, it's kind of like that on the first one as well. We're kind of a little bit too close to really be getting that focus on this camera. This has a 1 meter, maximum, I don't know why I'm blanking on the term right now, but it is a one meter minimum focal distance that you guys can focus at. So moving forward in this package, there is our third one. You guys can see the little mess all behind, but it did grab focus on our actual camera and all of that. Pretty cool. And like I said, guys, a lot of these are just snapshots, me running around the house, taking photos of my girlfriend getting ready here in the basement, and me just annoying the crap out of her getting ready in the morning. It's just and yeah, I do like these photos a lot, but you could tell that a lot of them are really overexposed. So next time I probably will not shoot this so overexposed. At least the highlights look really overexposed. The actual other stuff all looks properly exposed. Yeah, some blurry shots in here. That's to be expected. Yeah, just a little picture of the path. You got the geese all back there. There was actually a huge flock of geese coming through at this time, and I was trying to capture them, but by the time I ran out there, they're all gone. Here I was just kind of taking some photos of the highlights behind the backlit trees. You can tell it didn't grab focus on anything, or it doesn't look like it grabbed focus on anything. Just a little quick little test shot. All of these are done on matte paper as well, which I still don't know if 100% if I like these. I probably should have got one of them done with the matte paper and one of them done with regular paper. This is my daughter getting off the school bus, so I actually might not show you guys these photos just because of YouTube terms. Yeah, so here's some of the photos of my daughter getting off the school bus. Here is a photo of my daughter. Came out really nice and crisp. Yeah, just another quick little snapshot. Daughter relaxing after a long school day. This is a shot of my brother, Corey. We were actually out over at his place out in Chicago, and we were messing around with all of these cameras and stuff that I bought on eBay, trying to get a few of them working. So I might do a video on that in the future, but we did get some, at the time, I thought we were gonna get some really cool photos, and yeah, these are some pretty cool photos, cool colors. I like the rendering on them and everything, but I do kind of want to see what they look like in the digitizations. So you guys are probably checking out some of those digitizations right now, but yeah, I really like these kind of old school flash pictures with the on-camera flash. I think they look pretty cool. And here my brother's just kind of playing with his plants. He is a plant man. He loves plants. So he lives in like a loft kind of style, just a condo, a little apartment in Chicago. And one side of his apartment is just nothing but plants, as you guys can tell. So yeah, this is kind of his living room, I guess you could say. Here we're actually messing around with all these cameras and getting them set up to tear apart. Super fun little project here. We were messing around with this all day, all night, grabbed some Chinese food, made a little night of it. It was fun. We ended up getting a bunch of these cameras working, so yeah, this is a fun way to check out photos, guys. Now, that's actually the end of the roll already. But yeah, overall, I'm really, really stoked about this process. I like the camera. I like some of the photos that we got. I do think I need to play around a little bit more with when to overexpose, when to not overexpose with this 200 speed film. But I got a ton more of it. It's available locally for me. I can actually get it at just one of my local grocery stores. So I've been actually just keeping posted up online so I know exactly when they drop, when they have new stocks. Overall, I'm really excited about this roll. What are my thoughts and opinions on these photos? Now, I'm actually really, really liking a lot of these photos. A lot of them are not as sharp as I thought they would be. But then you end up getting a photo here and there that is just extremely sharp. So it could be something that I'm doing when I'm actually taking the photos, or maybe it's, you know, just the camera being not in the best lighting environment and stuff like that. Maybe it just can't find focus for whatever reason. But then you come to some of these other photos and you see that they're really sharp and they look really nice. So I think it's just a combination of not using the right film speed, not having the correct exposure settings in camera, even though this thing's automatic. It's probably just forcing it into some weird exposure settings. And you're getting blurry and soft images because of slow shutter speeds and because of maybe missing focus. But then you get a photo like this, and it's super sharp, super crispy, and it's in the right lighting for the film speed and all that kind of stuff. So I think I just really need to experiment a lot more with these photos. All these outdoor ones look really, really good. So I like the film stock overall. I even like the little bit of that green hue to these photos. I really don't mind that whatsoever. And I like all the tan colors and the more earthy tones and everything in this film stock a lot. So, and I do kind of like the matte photos that we picked. I wasn't 100% sure if I was gonna like these matte or satiny kind of photos that we took. They were supposed to be matte, but they're more of a satin in my opinion. They're definitely not glossy, but I don't have a matte example up here, but they're not matte photos. So, yeah, I wouldn't call these matte photos. It's definitely a satin or a luster to these photos, which isn't bad. I like them. I like them. And yeah, so some of these, even the ones with the flash, that one's of my daughter, some of these with the flash are really, really crispy and really, really sharp. but then, you know, you'll get one like this that's not in the best lighting, that's a little muddy. So you really gotta be shooting the correct film speed for the scenario, and you gotta be making sure you're watching that minimum focus distance on a lot of these. But yeah, overall, I really like how they overall turned out. And then look at this one. This one's nice and sharp too, with the plants in there, with the flash. So yeah, you just gotta be in the right lighting situation. This one of my brother turned out pretty good. You can see he's nice and sharp in the photo. The plants behind him are still pretty sharp. So yeah, really you just gotta have the right lighting for the film speed, and you should have pretty good results. You guys can see that we didn't quite get focus on this guy. However, on the one right next to it, we did get focus. Overall though, I really like this camera. I like the shooting experience of this camera. I like the simplicity of the camera. The size of the camera is super cool to work with. It fits perfectly around your neck, and it's not too big or bulky that it's feeling like a massive weight or anything. And it's relatively light, so yeah, you don't worry about it banging into stuff. It tucks into your shirt, tucks into your jacket and all that nice if you need it under there. But anyways, shooting experience of the Fuji film. I really liked the shooting experience on the Fuji film. I wish that I had 400 speed instead of 200 speed. I would have gotten a lot better results in a lot of these lower light situations. But with the flash, some of them did turn out pretty good. But a lot of the photos where we weren't using flash, you could just tell it was forcing it into a little bit slower of a shutter speed than you can really do handheld or, you know, at that time, whatever I was doing. So anyways, I'm super happy with the photos. I really like this very first photo that we ended up taking. That is this one. So yeah, I really like this very first photo that we ended up taking. I think it came out pretty funny, pretty cool for being the first photo on 35mm film. So anyways, let me know if this is something that you guys are planning on getting into, or if you guys are already into 35mm film. Let me know what you guys have been shooting on as far as film stock. Let me know what kind of cameras you guys are shooting on. Are you guys shooting on manual cameras? I just got my first little manual camera over here, so this one will be fun to play around with, but I really haven't shot it yet. It needs new light seals, it needs to be all cleaned up, all that kind of stuff. So right now it is just a little desk ornament. So yeah, we'll get into that in a future video. But yeah, let me know what you guys are doing, if you guys are already into film, and if you guys are thinking about getting into film, let me know what you guys are thinking about picking up, and let me know what kind of film stock you guys are working with and all that kind of stuff. But that is all that I had for today's video, so I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.